Armin, we present to you courTweets, the judicial Twitter aggregator.
You're not projecting.
You're not projecting.
I know, I'm reading.
Okay.
All right.
Just listen. Twitter is a valuable but underutilized resource for judicial research. Many courts tweet opinions, orders, and news, which is often in a more user-friendly format than on their websites. The challenge is trying to harness the rushing stream of information that is dispensed from Twitter. Until now, there are few sources that have comprehensively aggregated Twitter handles for both courts and judges. Our project, courTweets, will aid the public and librarians in locating courts and judges in order to obtain information and monitor news. One example of a need for free and timely information about courts occurred after the June 26th Supreme Court decision of Obergefell v. Hodges. Many courts were tweeting their status on the issuance of same-sex marriage licenses. The fastest way to stay on top of this information was to monitor Twitter. But without knowing the Twitter handles, meaning the account names, of all these courts, it would be a difficult task to stay on top of. Our site, courTweets, has these Twitter handles organized by jurisdiction to allow for easy searching and aggregation of the courts and judges who utilize the social media platform of Twitter. Now, Jessica will do a live demonstration. Okay, how do I pull this up?
You should just be able to hit yeah, there you go. You're up.
Okay. So we actually have a somewhat live website. We're hosting through Azure, which is Microsoft. So here's our courTweets website. So what the eventual goal is to be able to search by jurisdiction and choose either a court or judges, so you can limit, or you can choose to see tweets from both. One thing I saw on Facebook and Twitter, I'm from Texas, and there were a lot of counties in Texas that after that decision were still not issuing marriage licenses. And I was seeing people asking, do you know if such and such county is? And it wasn't necessarily their county. They might know their county's Twitter name. But they were asking about all of the counties around them because they were trying to figure out where's the closest place I can go and actually get a marriage license. But they didn't really know how to search that, how to find those close by Texas counties only. Do they have Twitter? Do they have Facebook? Do they have a way for me to find out up-to-date information? And so what we want to do is let people pick state, and then they can either pick, they can pick a specific state. We don't have the counties and cities loaded yet, but they can narrow down either as broadly or as narrowly as they want and find only those Twitter accounts that are applicable to that jurisdiction. So if we go back and pick both, well, we're still working on the coding part. But if we pick both state and federal and pick both courts and judges, right now we've only got a list that takes you links to the Twitter accounts. So this is Charles Hayden, who's at Philadelphia Municipal Court, and that's his Twitter account. And then this is the actual Lima Municipal Court account from Lima, Ohio. And the goal is eventually to actually have a live Twitter feed with the results. We ran into some coding problems because Twitter recently took away its RSS feed options. And the only way that Twitter allows embedding directly from Twitter is you have to create a widget manually on the Twitter website. And so you would have to go in with your results list of all of the usernames you want and go into the Twitter website, create a widget. So we were working on other scripting options for creating RSS feeds that would actually allow you to see up-to-date a streaming Twitter feed or an RSS feed of the most recent tweets from only your results list. So. Thank you. Yes, this is still a work in progress that we're very proud of. Group 2 believes that we achieved success with this hackathon project because we took information that is cumbersome and challenging to organize and streamlined it into an accessible site for all. Thank you.
Question.
Oh, question, sorry.
Anybody have a better way to get the Twitter feeds?
So are you guys manually entering each single state and into a database?
Dan and I sat here all day long and we pulled all this information. There's very
few resources that already have it. So the few that I knew existed that already had it culled, just pulled it from there. But everything else, it was hunting and pecking because they're really just not, there isn't anything. Dan did I worked on courts, he worked on judges.
We were also planning on implementing a, crowdsourcing option so that people could submit their own that they found, and then it would go ahead and be checked.
Yeah, and we would
Yeah,
we would
so like
source check it. It wouldn't
Yeah,
be.
so under
okay.
content, we would have basically a form that looks like the database submission form with all of the fields, where they could say, here's the Twitter handle, here's the website, here's the name, here's the jurisdictions, and then they submit that, and then that gets vetted and added to the database on the back end. So that then, if we've missed things, so we don't have to do everything all at once at the front end, it can continually grow as other people get involved.
Did you guys think about just using the Twitter, they have lists and you can manage lists?
Yes.
And then using their API to add the handles to a list?
You can, the thing is you can't narrow by jurisdiction that way. And so we would have to try and create a list for every possible jurisdictional search. And so doing that is a lot more cumbersome than being able to, because this, everybody, every entry is tagged with all the different jurisdictions. And so we can get a list of everybody from California, or we can get a list of everybody from the Ninth Circuit, or just people from the Northern District of California, and without having to create individual lists for each of those.
Have you thought about having a place where someone can contact you to opt in?
What do you mean opt in?
So, for instance, you have an email address or a form where I'm from Lima, Ohio. I can opt in to the Ohio list.
Well, she did mention that we would have the form set up for people to manually submit stuff.
Yeah, so if it's like a judge, they can submit and say, here's mine. I want to be part of this list.
And we would just, and then whomever
so somebody can see.
we would verify. We're not leaving it open so that anybody can just throw things up there.
Good idea.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's through the email submission form. So either a court could come in. If somebody started a new Twitter, they might say, I want to opt in. Or if they're like, hey, you missed this one. We know they were really hard to find. Their time was weird.
We would have a form up that people could contact us to submit that so that we could then verify it and then.
I missed it. So, sorry.
No, sorry.
Trying to get you on Twitter.
Anybody else? All right.
Thank you.